Hey guys, I've been asked many times to review this particular fragrance on this channel, and I've realized I've never done it. Sacrilege. Well, that ends today. Not only will I review this fragrance, but I'll also compare it to current formulation and also fragrances that are similar to it. So, without any further ado, one of the most hyped fragrances in Fragcomm, Yves Saint Laurent's La Nuit. Guys, it's coming up right now. What is up, Frag Fam? Max Forti here to give you another review, but not only a review, today is a special one. Obviously, it's a CFR, a classic fragrance review. Now, this is a special review not only because it's a CFR of La Nuit, but also because it's going to be a FragDuel of sorts. I'm going to give you guys my thoughts on the current formulation of Yves Saint Laurent's La Nuit, as well as compare it to the second formulation and the original one of the most sought after designer fragrances in Fragcomm over the past 10 years. Of course, the 2009 to 2011 original formulation of La Nuit. So Yves Saint Laurent's La Nuit was introduced back in 2009 and has since gone through many and several reformulations. And it's available in 4 main sizes. Yeah, you heard it correctly. Nowadays, you can also find it at 40 ml, 1.3, but the most common ones are the 2 ounce, the 3.3, 100 ml like this one, or the 200 ml flacon. And the prices will vary because you can find these fragrances at discounters right now. You're looking to pay anywhere from mid-40s to low 70s if you go into the discount route. Now, if you're looking to pay retail for Yves Saint Laurent's La Nuit, you're going to pay anywhere between $72 and $128 for the 200 ml. La Nuit is a woody, spicy fragrance, and it comes in an EDT, eau de toilette concentration. And the creation of this fragrance was a collaboration by 3 amazing perfumers: Dominique Ropion, which happens to be one of my all-time favorites, along with Pierre Boigny, and of course, Anne Filippo. So what do we get from La Nuit? Basically, it smells like sensuality, elegance, and sophistication. That's what it smells like. But on a serious note, as soon as you spray the fragrance, you get this almost cocoa caramel kind of a vibe that's really sophisticated and woody. Has a little bit of a spiciness to it because obviously you get that amazing cardamom note, which is one of the best cardamom fragrances in the market, period. To this day, it really is a great fragrance. You know, it's a great little fragrance. Yeah, it might be overhyped sometimes, but you can't deny the fact that it smells great. It really demands and commands attention. This is a fragrance that's definitely going to get you positive notice. There's no question about that. It's undeniably a great little scent. Again, the fragrance opens up with this really big, beautiful dose of cardamom that's really intriguing and sensual. Then it makes way to this lavender and cedar kind of a combination that's creamy, it's woody, it's spicy at the same time, really captivating. And the dry down, you're going to get that little vetiver action that's really tamed, really in the background and subdued. It's really not the main player here. Front and center, you're going to get that beautiful cardamom with the cedar and lavender that's going to be dancing throughout the life of this fragrance. Over the past decade, you know, from 2009 all the way to now, 2018, I would say this is definitely one of the best designers created to date. La Nuit is aromatic, it's sensual, it's creamy, it's a little bit spicy with a semi-powdery dry down. This is sensuality in the bottle. And yeah, ladies do enjoy this scent. If you want a fragrance that's going to get you noticed, definitely check this one out. I have 3 formulations here, a 2012, a 2016, and obviously the original 2009. Now, the most prominent differences that you're going to notice here, if you look at these straight on, it's going to be the color of the juice. Obviously, the 2009 to 2011, it's going to give you this, you know, almost honey-like color. It's going to be almost like a cognac. You know, that beautiful ambery kind of a tone is what you get with the original formulation. And also, what's a given by the vintage ones is the cap. You know, it's actually a metal cap that you get here, which is really heavy, which is an indication of a vintage, you know, one of the first formulations or the first formulation of La Nuit. There are other indications, but these are the main ones that I wanted to share with you guys today. Now, as far as the scent profile goes, when you're talking about the original one, it's going to be longer lasting, it's going to be creamier, and that cardamom note, it's going to be really amped up. And the most thing here that I notice is that with newer formulation, especially with the second formulation, it's a little bit sweeter and probably not as smooth as the original was. So when you factor in everything, you know, and obviously, you know, the newer formulation, now this is a 2016, it doesn't last quite as long. You know, with the original formulation, you're talking about 10 plus hours. With this second formulation here, I got about 8 to 9, you know, right around the 8-hour mark. And with the newer formulations now, you're talking about 6 to 7 if you're lucky. And I do spray my clothes, which does help with longevity. Now, to summarize here, the main comparison when you compare these formulations throughout the years is that if you look at the first formulations, 2009 to 2011, it's going to be a much richer and darker cardamom. It's going to be a cardamom bomb. It's going to be very smooth, very creamy and dark. And as you get to newer formulations than what we have today in the market, it's going to be unfortunately a little short-lived. It's not going to give you as strong performance as you'd get with the vintage formulations, but it's still a great scent. When you compare scent and scent alone, it still has that La Nuit profile. It still smells great. And there are other options out there, guys. If you don't want to pay vintage prices, there are good fragrances that I tend to, get a little bit better performance than I get with, the current formulations of La Nuit that you guys might want to look at. A couple options, of course, you have Ferragamo F Black, which is in the same kind of genre as La Nuit de l'Homme. Doesn't smell as good, but it's also a very, very good fragrance. I'd say it's a little bit more powdery than La Nuit, but it's, like I said, the scent character, the scent profile is quite similar. And the other option here is actually my favorite one, but unfortunately it's no longer a cheapie. Now it's actually a very expensive, fragrance because it's kind of hard to find. And of course, we're talking about Avant-Garde from Lanvin. This fragrance I picked up for 19 bucks back then. I think I bought it in Notino. Now, you're looking to pay anywhere from 60 to 100 bucks if you find it. Like I said, it's discontinued, a little bit hard to find, but this is as close as you can get to the original La Nuit formulation, in my opinion. Now, as far as when to wear this stuff, I think this is definitely a fragrance that screams sensuality, evening time, dress your occasions. Not necessarily suit and tie, but just, a nice shirt if you're going out with friends, hanging out, if you're going clubbing, romantic situations, dinners, if you're going on a date, if you're meeting someone for the first time, you have a date. This scent is romantic. It's definitely going to make a great first impression. It's going to, it's going to make a statement that you're well put together guy and you appreciate the finer things in life. My final thoughts on La Nuit de l'Homme is definitely one of the best designer fragrances I've ever put my nose on. Hence the fact that it is on my top 10 for life fragrances. If I got rid of all my fragrances and I only had to keep 10 designers, this would definitely be one of them. If you guys haven't watched that video, go check it out. I think it's a fine, woody, spicy, which is one of my favorite genres. It's just a great fragrance. I love the vetiver here. It's subdued in the background. It's very smooth, but the whole composition is extremely well blended. And of course, whether you get the current formulation or a vintage, longer lasting formulation, you're gonna smell great no matter what. Now here's the deal. If you do want to find a vintage bottle, I know they're fetching a pretty penny. However, I was lucky enough to find this is actually a backup of a vintage that I have, which is about halfway through. So I was lucky enough and fortunate enough to have a friend that sells vintage fragrances in Daniel Zimmerman. Daniel Zimmerman's the guy that I've been buying stuff from for the past 3 years. I have a ton of vintage stuff like Dolce & Gabbana Pour Homme, Zara Pour Homme, old private blend Tom Fords. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Over the past 3 years, I bought over 20 fragrances from this guy, and they're all vintage and very hard to find, just like La Nuit de l'Homme first formulation. Now, I know he has a few in stock because I spoke to him a little bit before I put this video together, and he was kind enough to extend a coupon code so you guys could, get a nice discount. The coupon code is MAX30, which will give you guys 30% off anything you pick up on the website, and that promotion is only good until the end of this month. So guys, don't waste your chance of getting a nice La Nuit de l'Homme, I think, for a really great price. From what I spoke to him about, I think he's got like 5 or 6 of them, and the price is actually pretty reasonable. But of course, not only La Nuit de l'Homme, if you guys are looking for anything rare, hard to find, discontinued, again, that link's gonna be down below. Code is MAX30. Enjoy. So guys, what are your thoughts on Yves Saint Laurent's La Nuit de l'Homme? Do you think this fragrance is not all it's cracked up to be? Do you think it's just an overly hyped fragrance? Please, I want you to sound off in the comment section below. Let me know your thoughts on this particular fragrance and what are your favorites from Yves Saint Laurent. Guys, thanks so much for tuning in. If you like the channel, please don't forget to show your support. You guys know the drill. Like, share, subscribe. I'll love you for it. And of course, don't forget to enable notifications so you guys always get first dibs on anything and everything fragrance that happens on this channel straight into your feed. And as always, stay fragrant, keep on spraying, and remember, it's not just what you spray, but it's also how you play. Guys, I'll see you in the next one.